Hello everyone, I'm KingBlackToof and welcome to a version 2012 character guide. This one's for Makoto. Now before we get started, I should probably talk about the UI that you could possibly see on your screens right now. Now in the bottom section, in the white, is where I'm going to put the combo notations. So when I do any combos, I'm going to put the notations in there. You'll probably see them in-game, but they may go faster than you can see. They may go off screen or something. So any combo terminology that you're unsure of, I'm going to put in the video description, so you can have a look down there if you're unsure of any of the abbreviations. And to the left of that you've got some arrows. Now in terms of content, that's going to take you to the previous section, repeat the same section, or take you to the next section. And that's going to be active throughout the entire video. And just above that you have some links. Now the first one is to the Rindokan Bible. And although they're not actual links, because YouTube doesn't let you do that, so you're going to have to type these into your address bar and it'll take you to the Rindokan Bible, which you can view online or print. Now the Rindokan Bible itself is an extraordinarily good source of information for Makoto players. It's a very good guide, but it's also a very technical guide. It uses a lot of frame data and such. So I'm hoping my guide will be an easily accessible encyclopedic video of Makoto's moves, setups and strategies, whilst also being a more visual guide and being easy to understand. So any troublesome stuff, no matter your skill level, will be easy to understand because I'll be walking you through it anyway. So the second link is the shoryuken.com character forums. So if you've got any questions about Makoto, you could probably go over to the subforum of Makoto and ask those questions there, and that community will try and help you out. You can ask me as well. I'll answer any questions that I know how to. But if you've got any matchup specific troubles, then someone over at the forums have probably already asked that same question, so you can just read the answers that other people probably gave those, or ask your own questions basically. So without further ado, let's continue on with the guide. I thank you in advance for watching and I hope it helps. Okay, so the first thing we need to discuss is the strengths and weaknesses of Makoto. Now her first strength is that her dashes are very fast. They recover very fast in terms of frames, and they also take a very long distance across the screen, both a forward and back dash, a forward dash especially. Now her back dash you're going to primarily use to get out of pressure that you don't want to be in, FADC back dash for example. I think it's pretty hard to option select since she does travel quite a long way. Maybe someone can, I don't know. Her forward dash, I think it's about 2 dash forward and you're going to be at the opponent from maximum screen, so it travels an extremely long distance, and in a way that's good, but you really do need to know how to use it. Now the first hurdle you're going to face with Makoto is dashing into a lot of pain basically. Just be careful with it. We hopefully learn how to use it throughout. Her second strength is that her normals are generally quite good. She's got a lot of decent normals. Standing medium punch is extraordinarily good. She can add a lot of pressure with these normals, so she can control space very easily, as well as anti-air. She's got a variety of anti-air normals. Next, she's got good damage and good stun. When she's got momentum, she's really good damage and really good stun, on par with Gouken. You know, she can be very surprising and get you stunned very quickly. She's also got pretty good punish ability. She can punish from very far with her EX.Hayate, which I'll come on to later, but if you mess up really close to her, she can get you into a KARAKUSA, which is like her command grab, and then go into a really powerful combo. So she's got really good punishes and good range on them as well. The next thing is that both her ultras, number 1 and number 2, which is the numerical system we're using, are very useful. Her ultra 1 is mostly the one you're going to take, but Ultra 2 has its uses against matches. They're both useful for different situations, which is what you want. You want some variety and the chance to pick your ultras, which is decent. You're not always stuck with the same one. And lastly, her EX moves are all applicable in all her matches. Now her EX moves improve upon the specials which they represent, but they've all got added things to them which makes them just a lot better than doing the normal version, so they're very good to use. Okay, so now we're on to her weaknesses. Now her strengths look really good, you know, they do. So what could be her weaknesses? Well, she has the slowest walk speed in the game. You're going at a snail's pace really, and combine that with a very far forward dash, you're going to want to forward dash a lot, but that's going to put you in a lot of pain. So it's like a mix. You have to use your normals to move forward. because she's got a lot of forward momentum normals. Her next weakness is that she's got weak cross-up skills. You can cross up rarely, but it's really difficult to do, and it's also hard to move yourself into position correctly because of her slow walk speed. You can't move into position when they're knocked down and then jump. So it's really hard to cross up with her. So the next thing is that when she's knocked down, she's very vulnerable. She can't do much on a wake up, really. She's vulnerable to a lot. The only thing you've got is if they're jumping over the top of you, you might be able to do an up punch. It's quite risky because they might safe jump you, but generally you have to block and tech and just deal with it and then get out. She has a hard time when she's on the floor. So her next weakness is that she also has a hard time escaping corners. She hasn't got much in the way of getting out safely. She hasn't got nothing that will travel across the screen safely. So she has a hard time. You have to pick your moment, and hopefully you can get momentum back. Now, her fifth weakness is that most of her specials are unsafe in some way or another, so you need to be careful and choose wisely. And her last weakness is that she's easily zoned and easily reversaled. Now, because you're going to be putting on a lot of pressure, you've got the high chance of being reversaled by every reversal in the game. You got to be brave to play Makoto, really. And zoned, everyone gets zoned, but she hasn't got many ways to get round it. If you FADC it, you shouldn't dash forward, I find, because you're going to dash into a punch or an uppercut or something. Okay, so she has to bide her time. Now, Makoto in general, I would say you need to be patient and brave. Okay, that's what I'd say is the strategy for Makoto. Okay, so hopefully there's strengths and weaknesses, and now we're going to go into the normals, I think. Okay, the first thing we're going to discuss with Makoto is her normals. Now, she's got quite a few. These also include unique attacks. She's got a lot of those, and I'll go over those here as well. Now, the first move is just a standing light punch. Now, this is your basic jab attack. Use it to push the opponent out. Use it in bread and butter combos. It's a good frame trap after standing medium punch. Throw one of those out. Now, crouching light punch is also the same. Use it in bread and butter combos and to push the opponent out. Now, standing light kick, it reaches a lot further than you might suspect. It doesn't do much in terms of just an attack, but it does have quite a lot of utility applied to it. Now, your KARAKUSA, which is your command grab, reaches about this distance. Now, if you Kara the KARAKUS with the standing light kick, so you do standing light kick, KARAKUS, you'll move forward like this. Now, the main problem is you have to be careful and make sure the standing light kick whiffs. If it hits the opponent, then the KARAKUSA will whiff. So it's a dangerous one, but make sure it whiffs and it'll work. Now, her crouching light kick, it's got pretty good range on it. You can't link it into any other normals, but you use it at the end of a bread and butter combo, and it'll give you some range, and you go into Hayate from there. Standing medium punch is just a great move overall. It's got good hitbox, it's relatively fast. You use it in a lot of bread and butter combos, and it's kind of the move that you want to throw out to stuff other people's moves. It's really that good. It can also be used to stop people neutral jumping on you. It's got, like I said, a really good hitbox that it stops people jumping on you, which is really quite good. Crouching medium punch, it's got long range. It's about 7 frames startup, so that's not the best, but in terms of range, it's really, really good, and it can be cancelled into Hayate as well. Standing medium kick is about the same. It's really good range and can be cancelled into a medium punch Hayate as well. You want to use this to poke people, play footsies with them. Now, if they're crouching, it will miss people, but grapplers are quite bigger, so it will normally hit those when they're crouching. Now, crouching medium kick is mainly used for an anti-air, so crouching medium kick, use it as a traditional anti-air when they're jumping at you from traditional range, like so. Now, your standing heavy punch is going to be your main way to get into a heavy punch Hayate, and it's one of the few ways you can get into an EX.Oroshi comboable. And so you normally use this after a KARAKUSA or something like that, or on a punish. So weirdly enough, your sweep is on the crouching heavy punch, not heavy kick. This is like the only character which does this. Now, the sweep is pretty good, and it sets you up for some sort of setups later. Now, standing heavy kick, it's got pretty good range on it. It's pretty good at stuffing other people's moves as well, and it causes a lot of knockback, as you can see. You get pushed really far back. So in that way, I'd say it's quite unpunishable because of the range. Now your crouching heavy kick, which is normally your sweep on other characters, is this weird massive move here. Now this can be used as a really good poke for long distances or as an anti-air for very long distances. And if they're crouching, it's the same as standing medium kick, but it's pretty lenient. On grapplers obviously it's more likely to hit them. Okay, so now we've talked about her standing normals, let's go on to her jumping normals. The first one is the jumping light kick. Now her jumping light kick is not that great, you're probably not going to use it very often. One use it does have is that it has very lousy frames. I know that sounds like a bad thing, but because it has such lousy hit stun and block stun, you can get into your KARAKUSA easily, because they might not expect to recover that fast. And it's the same thing with your jumping light punch. You've got lousy hit stun and lousy block stun, so it's a good way to get into your KARAKUSA. It also has a bit of fuzzy guard, but there's better moves to do if you're going to do a fuzzy guard than jumping light punch. Now jumping medium punch is a really good air to air move. As you can see, she sticks her arm out quite far. Now if you want to stop them jumping over you, that's a really good move to stick out, if like they're in the corner and they're trying to get out, for example. Or if you're trying to jump away from traditional distances. So here if you're trying to escape and you jump away like that, you stand in medium punch because it's really good. Now if you're a lot closer than this, then I recommend using a jumping heavy punch if you're trying to jump away like that, because it hits a lot better in that sort of range. But from sort of this range, jumping medium punch is good. Jumping medium kick, now this is going to be one of the main ways you can jump in and hit an opponent. As you can see, it's pretty good. This will be the main way you probably cross over. It's not that good. As you can see, I'm sliding around the opponent. And it's quite ambiguous and it's really quite difficult. If you're going to try to, I say possibly hit it quite late, it's more likely to hit, but other than that, it's just a basic jumping attack. Now jumping heavy punch, that has a different neutral to diagonal motion. The neutral motion can be good to combo into the forward heavy punch move like this. You have to hit it quite late, it's quite tight on the timing. The directional one is pretty good for a jump in, and it's got a fuzzy guard on it like this. Now this is probably the one you want to use if you want to do a fuzzy guard. And lastly, her jumping heavy kick is another type of jumping attack you might want to do. It does reach quite far, she sticks the leg out quite far, and for this reason, as you can see, her leg is quite far and still hitting him. It does have some safe jump options attached to it, so because of this move she has a 3-frame safe jump, which I'll go into later. Okay, so now we've talked about all of her normals, jumping and on the ground. I'm going to talk about her unique attacks and target combos. Now every one of her moves, light punch, medium punch, heavy punch, etc., has a forward plus notation, so forward light punch, forward light kick, forward heavy kick, etc., and they all perform different moves, so I'm going to go into those first. Okay, the first one is forward light punch. Now this is a only 3-frame normal. If you want to beat people to the punch, so to speak, this is the move you want to do, but it does have trouble going into Hayate because the forward counts it as a Shoryuken motion, so instead you want to just back down forward if you want to get Hayate out of it. The next one is forward medium punch. Now this is a really good normal. It moves her forward quite a bit and you want to use it for space control. It's really good for stuffing other people's moves, so you get a lot of counter hits off this move. So you want to use it to move across the battlefield like this, and also to control space and pressure them at the same time. The next one is forward heavy punch, and you can follow it with more heavy punches afterwards. And it's a pretty good punish, it does a lot of damage, 220, and quite a bit of stun actually. So it's a good punish and it's a good sort of poke to try and keep them at bay. Her next one is forward light kick. Now this moves her forward while keeping a hitbox there. It's not as good as forward medium punch in terms of hitbox, and she does have some pressure attached to it, but they do recover a bit faster than forward medium punch. But the main thing about it is, compared to the forward medium punch, is that you move into the opponent when you finish. The forward light kick does have a lot of Kara properties attached to it, so I'll go into those later, but for now you can get Kara grab by doing a forward light kick plinked with a grab, like so. Her next move is a forward medium kick. Now this travels her quite far forward while sticking your leg out, and it's also got a target combo attached to it where you can add a heavy kick at the end. So you can kind of feign that you're not going to do it and then end up doing it. You can make them think you're going to do it and then not do it and do something else instead. Okay, the next one is forward heavy kick. Now this is like a far-reaching sweep. It takes a while to come out though, and you can hold the button so it's a feign, so you recover a lot faster, like so. This can be used to corpse hop over the opponent on knockdown, like this. Well, not quite like that, like this. Okay, and then you can follow it with some sort of mix-up. Another important thing about this forward heavy kick is during the middle of the hop, you are airborne. So as you can see here, Zangief can't grab me in this setup because I am in the middle of my hop and I am airborne. Now the main problem about this is that you're only in the middle of the hop when they've recovered, so it is quite risky and you can get punished by everything else in the book. But just be aware of it. If you think he's going to do spam SPD on his wake up, you could do this setup. And finally, the only target combo I haven't mentioned is light kick, medium kick. Now the good thing about this is you can do the medium kick without the light kick hitting, and it hits twice and it's really good at breaking focus attacks, and it's got pretty good range on it as well because it pretty much ends on a medium kick. Okay, so now we're on to the special moves. I'm going to go over them each individually on their own because some areas are quite advanced and extensive. Now the first one we're going over is the Hayate, or the dash punch if you want to call it that. I'm going to be referring to it as Hayate because for one I can pronounce this one, so I'm going to call it Hayate. So as the name implies, it's the dash punch, and with each increase in strength it does more damage and the EX one knocks you down. Now with all the normal strength versions you can hold the button down and it will charge it up from level 1 to 5. When it gets to level 5 it will release automatically and do maximum damage no matter what the strength was. The EX can't be held. Now whilst you're charging any of these Hayates you can cancel them by pressing the kick button. So this is called an Hayate cancel, and is an advanced technique that can be used later. Now when talking about Hayates in combos, the general rule of thumb is that you can do the Hayate equal to the strength of the last normal you did. So light punch to light punch Hayate works, light punch to any Hayate above that doesn't. Medium punch to light punch works, medium punch to medium punch works, medium punch to heavy doesn't, and heavy punch, standing heavy punch can go into anything else. Okay, now the EX breaks this as it can go from any normal you want, the EX will work. Now an important thing to know is that you can't abuse Hayates because they are all punishable. The light punch version is the most punishable, with the heavy punch version being the least punishable. If you hold them to level 5 they're not punishable at all, although that is very unlikely in a match. The good thing about the EX one is that you can punish things that are really far away, like that for example. Now if characters try to fuzzy guard you, even on hit you can punish them easily, so it's a bad choice for those. And also if you know player tendencies, so like E Honda, even if he hits you, you can punish him if he does a command grab to build meter at the end. Now it is worth noting that it's not completely max screen. You can't punish from absolutely max screen, but although a little bit off max screen, so a little move forward like this, and you can punish it if Bisons are just messing about. So it's really quite good in that respect. The EX version is a great punish, and you can follow it up like that, especially in the corner. Now when charging your normal Hayate, it is not armor breaking. Your normal one is not normally armor breaking. But if you charge it to max level, it becomes armor breaking. Okay? The EX version is always armor breaking. But one thing I would say is that it's deceptively weak. You can be hit out of your Hayate before you actually reach your target. Relatively easy, I would say, so just be careful about that. Okay, so now we've discussed Hayate so we know what they do. You normally use them at the end of combos. Normally all of your bread and butter combos will end in an Hayate. Okay, so whether that be EX or not, if it's not an EX, then it leaves the opponent standing. So you've got a post-Hayate mix-up options. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the post-Hayate mix-up options that you've got from a non-EX Hayate. Now with all these mix-up options, you do have to be careful of making the wrong choice and getting Shoryuken to death. So one of your first options against average size hitbox people like Ryu is to do a heavy kick Karakusa, which will grab them. Now this can only be done after a heavy punch Hayate because the distance is right, and if they're holding back they'll escape you, and on big hitbox characters like Zangief it will whiff anyway. So the way you get around this is by doing a forward light kick Karakusa, which I'll go into in the Karakusa section. But remember this particular one can only be done after a heavy punch Hayate. The rest of these can be done after any Hayate. Now if he jumps neutral jumps, you've got the option to do a diagonal jump heavy punch. If he jumps away you still get him, if he jumps towards you, you still get him. And don't forget you can cross under and do some sort of mix-up after any of these punches. Now this may not be as practical, but if you read a neutral jump, you can do an up punch and follow up with a normal combo. You could also charge up a Hayate. If they neutral jump or back jump, let it go to hit them. And you can cancel this, remember, if they do something that you're not expecting. It's quite risky as they seem quite relatively close to you, but if you're predicting the back jump, then you can punish it with that. Alternatively, you can use an EX version, which gives you a little bit more time to read it and react to such things. If he jumps towards you, then you can just up punch him straight out of the air. And also, if you think he's going to try and grab you for whatever reason, you can do an instant air axe kick. Okay, so they're all your post-Hayate mix-ups. Now with the Hayate we have an advanced technique, which is the Hayate cancel, which I spoke about before, if you remember. You can cancel any charged Hayate with a kick move. So if you press the Hayate and press light punch and light kick at the same time, so the punch button, it will activate and cancel really quickly. Now the point I'm making here is it depends on what move you cancel into the Hayate from, because it adjusts your position, your positional thing. So as you can see, I can't hit anymore even though I'm still doing the same thing. So I'll sped this up and I'm cancelling from a standing medium kick. Now this will move you away from the opponent incrementally. Now you can use a crouching medium punch. This will keep you in the exact same position for the entire time. So crouching medium punch into Hayate, Hayate cancel it, and you'll stay in the same spot. Now standing medium punch is a great way to move towards the opponent when you're Hayate cancelling it, so it's really good for the pressure. It's got quite a lot of hit stun as well. Okay, now we've got standing light kick, which moves you to the opponent very quickly, but it leaves them with less hit stun so that he can be punished a lot more. And he's walking away just normally, and I find it really hard to actually escape. So it's a really good move for that, but it's quite risky. And so now here's some Hayate cancel combos. So you go from heavy punch into standing medium punch using the Hayate cancel. So standing heavy punch, Hayate cancel, standing medium punch. So it extends your combos because it reduces your recovery frames of your move. So mainly you want to use Hayate cancel combos to stay close to the opponent and pressure them, okay, with the normals which move you in and stuff like that. And to catch them off guard to get into a KARAKUSA and stuff like that. Okay, so now we're on to Makoto's next special move, which is the TSURUGI, or the axe kick, and I'm probably going to refer to it as an axe kick because it's easier for me. Now the axe kick is performed in the air like so, and you do that type of kick. Now the light kick and medium kick can be comboed after, and the heavy kick and EX versions knock the opponent down into a soft knockdown state. Now it's important to know that this move can only be done on a neutral or forward jump. You can't do it on a back jump whatsoever. And the move does take quite a long time to come out, so on a forward jump you have to make sure you do it quite early for it to come out. Now if you do it too late, it just won't come out like this. You'll reach the floor before it even gets into its active frames. Now on the neutral jump it'll always make you float, which is kind of what you want. Now on the forward jump the EX does make you float. So you can do the EX on the forward jump as close to the floor as you want and it'll make you float. Now it is possible to make normal versions on the forward jump make you float, and the way you do this is by plinking a punch. So you can see those inputs, punch, punch, kick, that's a plink. So if you do that on a forward jump, it'll make you float even with normal kicks. Now that's really good because it saves you wasting an EX. And also can help with stuffing their anti-air timing, their tech timing and stuff like that. It's just really good to try and do. Now if Makoto's getting zoned, which she often does, if you're FADCing through fireballs, I've told you before not to go forward very lightly. Instead you probably want to go backwards. Now other ways to get around the fireballs for Makoto is usually to jump, neutral jump over the fireballs, or to do an air TSURUGI over them, like so, an axe kick. And basically the closer to the ground you can do it quite quick, and it's a lot less risk for you because you change your jump arc and you can stuff people if they try and punish you for it, like so, and punish them for that. Now the axe kick does have an advanced feature tied to it, and that's the instant air axe kick, like so, instant air TSURUGI. Although this might look quite instant to you, this isn't the instant you can do it. You can do it even faster than that, because if they're crouching that one will miss. It's normally a 2-hitting move, okay? To do it really instant, you've got to hit them twice. So that wasn't instant enough. That one is. It hits him twice. So if he was crouching for that one, it would hit him. Now there's two ways you can perform this instant air axe kick. The first is to jump and then do the notations as fast as possible, and then the kicks. Or you can do the notations and then do a jump button and then kick. So similar to Kami's cannon strikes, although the main problem with that is that you can't jump back. On Kami's cannon strikes you can, but on this you can't, so you have to make sure to miss that particular direction. Now the normal versions can be done as an instant air TSURUGI as well. The EX has less height restriction, but only by a small amount, and so if you get an instant air TSURUGI you can combo after it like so. Now the main reasons an instant air TSURUGI is really good is to pressure the opponent. If they try and crouch tech, you can get them like so. After a block string, you can try and do it if they're crouch teching, like so. And also, if they try and grab you after a block string, you can do an instant air TSURUGI and punish them for it. You'll see a lot of good Makotos using this move, because it's really good for pressure. It's one of the best moves if done correctly. So this special move, the FUKIAGE, or the up punch, which is what I'm going to refer to it as, is a really good anti-air. Now it can only hit people who are airborne, that's the rule. Okay? Now the light punch version stands where she is and she hits directly above her. Each increase in strength makes her move further forward, like so. Now the EX one doesn't track the opponent, so it is just a bit further forward. You can't use it to track him. Now if you hit an up punch, you can follow it up with another up punch, like so. And if you have EX, you can follow it up into a bigger combo. Now the up punch can only hit people that are airborne, remember? And when you're in a crumple state, when you hit your knees, you become airborne, so you can pick them up off a focus attack, crumple. You'll have to wait for them to hit their knees first though. A good timing to do this is to dash back and then dash forward and do the impulse. Now when you performed an up punch, you can jump cancel away from it. So after an up punch you can jump cancel neutral, or you can jump cancel forward to perform more combos and such. The most basic combo from it is a medium kick axe kick and then an EX.Hayate. Now one of the main reasons you're going to use it is to either anti-air or in combos. You have to be careful with the anti-air though. You only want to use it if they're obviously above you, like a really late crossover or something, okay? Because it's easily safe jumped. Like Ryu here is going to show you. And it causes some weird stuff, but still, it's easily safe jumped, so you don't want to use it on normal jump-ins either. It's better to use normal anti-airs if you're going to try and stop a jump-in. And if they're neutral jumping on your wake-up, for example, you can use it. Now the hitbox on this move is really quite good. You can punish things you might not have known you can punish, like E Honda's Sumo Slam. Bison's head stomps, you can punish them clean. One thing you do have to be aware with Bison's head stomp is that if he does a devil's reverse, you're going to get punished for it if you tried to stop the normal version, but you can do his EX version clean, so that just shows you how good the hitbox really is. If you trade, I think he does a little bit more damage, but still, it's a pretty good way to punish it. And you can even punish Blanca's Ultra 1, which is pretty cool. But just remember to only use it on obvious jump-ins. Don't try and use it on your wake-up if it looks like they're going to do a safe jump, because you'll just get punished. Okay, and use it in combos and as punishes for moves which come down from above. Okay, so now we're on to the Oroshi, or the Karate Chop. I will probably refer to it as the Oroshi. So, the Oroshi. Okay, so the Oroshi is an overhead move. Now, the light punch and medium punch versions, they'll just hit the opponent and you can follow up, possibly with some fast moves. The heavy punch and EX versions will knock the opponent down into a hard knockdown state. So if he's just crouch blocking, it will hit, and then you might get a chance to get some offense going. Now if he throws out a move, you will get interrupted. You can't combo into any of the normal ones from any of your normal moves, so a heavy punch won't combo into a heavy punch Oroshi. There's only one or two ways to get into the EX Oroshi, and that's from heavy punch or medium punch. Now, during this whole time, you are grab throwable, so that's an easy way to stop you doing it. The EX version has 12 frames of invincibility on its startup. Now, these will wear out before your move's actually connected, so you do have to be careful, but it can make sure you can pass through you, and then you can punish them and stuff like that. It's also very useful as a get off me type move. It's probably Makoto's only get off me type move because the Hayate is punishable on block and also is very easy to interrupt, as I remember saying. Now the normal Oroshis, I would recommend using them as meaty setups because then you can combo into something a lot easier and get a full damage combo. Even your Ultra you can combo if you get a meaty setup with your Oroshi, but obviously it's risky because all meaties are risky. I'll go into that in a different section, but just be aware that that's kind of what they're used for. The normal ones, I would say, it's the stop crouch blockers, meaty setups, and the EX one is good for some safe jump setups and stuff like that. Okay, so now we're on to Makoto's command grab, the KARAKUSA. Now this is the crux of her gameplay, I would say. Her normal pressure is really intense, and so when people start getting scared of that, they'll start blocking, in which case you command grab them, and it's a really good way to get into a massive damaging combo, so they'll get scared of your KARAKUSA relatively soon. So when they get scared of the KARAKUSA, you go back into your normal pressure. When they're trying to get away, you'll hit them with a lot of normal pressure and go into combo punishes and stuff like that. So then they'll get scared about that and they'll start blocking, and then you go around a vicious circle like that. Okay? So that's what I would call the crux of her gameplay. Now the KARAKUSA is a forward down back input, a half circle. Now the increase in strength increases the startup time and also the distance at which it grabs. So as you can see, the light kick misses, the medium kick misses, but the heavy kick reaches. So it's an increase in range. All the normal versions do the same damage, with the EX doing a little bit more. And your most common combo off of it is going to be a standing heavy punch into heavy punch Hayate when you haven't got meter. Now the most important thing to know about the EX version is that it has one piece of armor, so it can go through one normal or special which doesn't have armor breaking properties. Armor breaking specials will obviously go through it, and you need to be careful when you finish a block string and go straight into a KARAKUSA. If they do a reversal, it'll break it. Now the really good thing about the KARAKUSA is that it stops traditional safe jumps. So I've brought Gouken in here to show you a traditional safe jump there, and he did a medium punch after it. Now on her wake up, if she does KARAKUSA, the armor will get hit and he won't have time, because the frames work out so that by the time the KARAKUSAs come out, it's before the time they manage to redo another move. So here he option selects an EX Tatsu and I tried to dash away and it got me. But if I do the EX KARAKUSA on my wake up, it prevents the option select from coming out and I get the punish. It's just really good. So it prevents traditional safe jumps. And lastly, the KARAKUSA will whiff if you cancel it from a normal. There's no way to combo into a KARAKUSA. It's the same as normal grabs. You can't do it if they're in hit stun or block stun, although you can do a jumping light attack which has really lousy hit stun or block stun and combo into it from there because they recover so fast. So you can do light normals to try and make it, but you can't cancel from a normal. It just will whiff. So now we've had a look at the KARAKUSA, there is an advanced technique which can be applied to it, which is the KARAKUSA. Now Kara moves, like a Kara throw for example, increase the range of the move by moving you forward a little bit, and that's exactly what the KARAKUSA does. It moves you forward and increases the range of the KARAKUSA. So there's two ways to perform the KARAKUSA. The first one is off a standing light kick, and the second one is off a forward light kick. So this is the range of the heavy kick KARAKUSA, and if you cancel it off a light kick, you get this. So as you can see, she moved forward while she did it. Now the main issue with this version is that if you hit the opponent, you can't cancel into it from there, it will just whiff. So you have to make sure that the light kick whiffs. A way to do this would be to use normals to push them out into a certain range, like so. And so you can use different combo variations to push them out of range, like so, and then perform the KARAKUSA. Okay? And then you can get a bit more range on it, which is nicer. Now this one is the easiest to do of the two, but is also the most risky in case it hits them. And the second way to do it is off a forward light kick. Now this is safer because you have to cancel the startup frames into the KARAKUSA, so it's less risky because it's not going to hit them and cause the KARAKUSA to whiff, but you have to do it mega fast. Forward light kick, down back KARAKUSA, or Shoryuken light kick, back KARAKUSA. So as you can see my inputs there, Shoryuken light kick, ending on forward light kick, and then back heavy kick for the KARAKUSA. Okay, so now we're on to her super and ultra section, like I predicted. But before that, if you came from the special section, you should probably take a little bit of a breather. There's quite a few advanced techniques in the special section, which will take a while for you to get pinned down correctly. So just forget about them for now, learn them all at the same time, and come back to them when you need to recap over certain techniques. So we're going to go into her super first. Now her super, I would say, is not that great. I would instead recommend that you save your EX for your EX special moves, which are a lot more versatile. Now her super, when activated, gives you 25% extra damage for a limited time, and it can be cancelled out of your special moves and can link into your ultra, so it's a good stepping point for that combo. But I would recommend, if you're going to use it, make sure it's going to finish the whole match off for you, so you don't use it in the end of the first round and have no EX for the second round. And or if you're desperate. It does have a few invincibility frames, so you can use it if it's the last round and you're about to get hit on the last bit of life, and then you can like dash away. It's better to use it there than losing the whole match, so if you're desperate or you want to finish the whole match off, is where I recommend you use it. Now her Ultra 1 is probably a most used Ultra. It's the same against all the cast. You can get into it easily from your Karakusa, and it does pretty good damage. Now if you're worried about the timing, you can do the buffer notation and then press all punch several times to try and get it, but obviously it's better if you get the timing down. Now the reason it's a good Ultra is because you can combo it from a variety of things, like medium kick, axe kick. You can also use it as an anti-air because it's completely invincible until your hit connects, so it's free range for anyone trying to jump in on you. Just make sure they're not jumping in from a weird angle, otherwise it'll miss. You can do it from a meaty setup, a v.2012 for example. And of course you can do the super sort of thing which I mentioned earlier. Go into your super, which slows down time, and then going straight into your ultra. Now you want to choose your Ultra 2 for its utility. It comes off the wall and does a reasonable damage here. But you want to pick it against certain characters because it's got more uses against other characters than others. Okay, and after you've done the animation here, because it ends on an up punch, you can jump cancel it like your normal up punches into a jumping medium axe kick into an EX.Hayate. Now when you go to the wall, you can press light, medium or heavy kick, and that will change the distance into short, medium or far. Now the far distance is if you didn't press anything, it would go far distance, but you can make sure of this by pressing heavy kick if you want. Now you can only jump cancel out of it if the first attack hits. So if you hit them here and then you fall out of it, you can still jump cancel at the end. But if you miss the first attack and then walk into it, then it doesn't work. You can't jump cancel. And you can jump cancel at the end whether it's the cinematic or not, providing the first hit hits. Now this Ultra 2 can be used to go over fireballs, of course, which is really good against. It's also good to get out of grabs or to get out of the corner, but you have to make sure they don't block it. If they block it, it's very punishable. And here's some ways to combo into the Ultra 2. Now because I did an up punch to get into this combo, it means I can't do an axe kick. Okay, so I need to backdash instead and do an EX.Hayate, because the normal jumping axe kick won't connect. You can combo into this Ultra from an EX up punch, which is quite nice. Now you can combo from a normal up punch, but you have to make sure it's quite meaty, that you're recovering as he's dropping down onto the punch. And if you're close to the corner, you can still combo into it. In fact, it's easier, but you have to be aware that you will have to do the EX axe kick away from the corner. Okay? Okay, Makoto has several anti-airs you can use for different positions. The main one you're probably going to use is crouching medium kick, which is good for just your average jump-ins, you know, your average range jump-ins. And don't forget, you can cross under by dashing with a mix-up if they're not suspecting it. The next anti-air that you probably want to use is crouching heavy kick. Now this comes out quite slowly, so you have to do a bit early, but it's really good for very, very far range jump-ins like so. So if they're just jumping over something or jumping towards you, this is a good move to do. Now this isn't only far range, it's got a pretty good hitbox, so you can do it when he's a bit closer to you. and you will be able to dash under it if it was that close, otherwise you can't. Now if you're trying to jump just over the top of it, you can do your up punch. Obviously you can follow it up with any combos you want. And don't forget, in the previous section you can do your ultra to anti-air. It's best to try and keep it accurately spaced so it's nice, clean, normal jumping rather than anything weird. If they're neutral jumping you can just do a standing medium punch. That's a pretty good anti-neutral jump normal, and you can dash under if you want to. Or you could do an up punch. It's a little bit risky. You have to make sure that you do the appropriate version. Okay, so now we're on to Makoto's combos. She's got a lot of combo variations, but they're all quite similar. A lot of normals into Hayates, so I won't be showing absolutely all of them, but I'll be showing methods of changing the strength so you can get into a higher strength Hayate and stuff like that. Your basic variations. So your first one is after some light attacks, you go into a crouching light kick to a light punch Hayate. Your second one is to go up in strength, so you do a standing light punch into medium punch. The next one is your heavy punch into heavy punch Hayate. That's going to be your main one after a KARAKUSA if you don't have any EX. Your medium punches are good for pressure. Although this one isn't a true block string, after a heavy punch Hayate it's good to do a crouching light kick into light punch Hayate because it's a great frame trap. If they're pressing any buttons, you'll catch them. And although you can't get into a medium punch Oroshi very easily, if you do, you can do a medium punch into medium punch Hayate. And you can go into the light punch Hayate if you're not confident with the timing. Now you've probably seen Hayate ends a lot of these combos, and don't forget you can substitute an EX.Hayate for any of these combos. Now an EX.Hayate is going to be best used when you're in the corner, because then you can get an even more damaging combo at the end of it, like so. An EX.Oroshi is pretty difficult to combo into, but it does give you a lot of safe jumps and setups. The first way is to do it from a standing heavy punch. The second way is to do it from a standing medium punch. They're the only two ways you're going to be able to combo into an EX.Oroshi. So if you want to get fancy, you can get fancy. Obviously damage scaling starts to kick in there. If you hit them with a raw up punch for whatever reason, you can go into another up punch. You have to make sure you do the right distance. If you do have EX, then you can follow up with more damaging combo variations. Now the first one, this one, is the most damaging. 2 up punches and an EX axe kick. Now the rest of these aren't as damaging as the first one, but they do travel across the screen a lot more, so if you want to carry them to the corner quickly, then you want to use these types of moves instead. And this next combo is a very strange one, a neutral jump into a forward heavy punch. If you get into a KARAKUSA, your main combo is going to be a standing heavy punch into a heavy punch Hayate, or standing heavy punch into an EX.Hayate, whichever you want. That's going to be your standard combo. Also, if you manage to hit them with a medium kick TSURUGI or axe kick, you can go into a damaging combo from there using crouching medium punch if they're really far away, or standing medium punch if they're closer. Right, this next section is going to be related to Hayate cancel combos. Now these are going to involve Hayate cancels, of course. I'm not going to go into massively under practical ones, or over practical, under practical, unpractical. This next section is not very big, and I'm not going to go into unpractical ones because damage scaling does kick in rather fast. So remember, the Hayate cancel will allow you to stop the recovery frames of one normal into a special and then cancel the special so you can put out another normal. So here we'll see a standing heavy punch into a standing medium punch. Standing heavy punch into a crouching light kick is easier to perform because it's not as tight, but it does less damage, of course. And the same with that one. Because Hayate cancels are mostly used for pressure, don't forget sometimes you can do a Hayate cancel and then go into a KARAKUSA when you think the opponent thinks you're going to go into another normal, so they just continue blocking. And don't forget to use the normals which move you closer to the opponent and stuff like that. Like this, for example, you do a combo, you go into a Hayate cancel, they might think you're going to continue doing normals, but instead you do a KARAKUSA and get a full damage combo. So that's about it for the Hayate cancel combos. There's not many, granted. Mostly you want to use this for pressure, because the damage you get from a Hayate cancel combo is not necessarily any better than one without a Hayate cancel combo. The damage scaling does kick in quite quickly. This section is dedicated to counter hit combos. Now counter hits, if you're unaware, is when you hit the opponent during the startup frames of their normals, and it grants you extra damage and extra hit stun on the opponent. Now the extra hit stun opens up a lot more combo possibilities which wouldn't normally be allowed. Now because Makoto can get counter hits relatively easy with her forward medium punch and other forward moving normals, I thought it would be prudent to do a whole section on new combos which open up after counter hits, so that when you get one you can go into new, more damaging combos. So remember, in all these subsequent clips you'll see the first hit is always a counter hit, and that's integral to the combo. So on this first one you'll see standing heavy punch, Hayate cancels to another standing heavy punch. You can actually combo into a sweep from a standing medium punch if it's a counter hit, which is good to know. If you get a standing heavy punch and it is a counter hit, you can go into a medium punch Oroshi and then follow it up, which is nice. Forward medium punch if it's a counter hit, which it often will be. Crouching light normal into a normal Hayate, light punch Hayate, and into a standing medium punch into medium punch Hayate. What's really good is after a standing medium punch counter hit, you can go into a standing heavy punch, provided you're accurately spaced, of course. Okay, so now we're on to Makoto's safe jumps, and I always get excited for safe jumps, I love them. Now she hasn't got many, but she does have a free frame safe jump which can be used against Ryu, Ken, Akuma's Shoryukens. Now this one is the free frame safe jump. After a standing heavy punch EX.Oroshi, you do a standing heavy kick into a neutral jump heavy kick. Now I'm just using the KARAKUSA for spacing, but you can do it off a normal standing heavy punch if you're close. Now the main drawback is if he just holds back, he will walk away without being touched. But other than that, if he does a Shoryuken, you won't be hit, and if he does a heavy punch Shoryuken which travels forward more, you'll be able to block in time. And the reason this happens is because the first frame of the Shoryuken is very close, and since your neutral jump heavy kick hits very far, you manage to recover in time for his second and third frames of the Shoryuken, like so. So that's really good, I like that. But for normal 4 frame safe jumps, after an EX.Oroshi, do a forward medium punch into a neutral jump heavy kick, like so. And the next 4 frame safe jump is off a back throw. If you do a back throw and then a forward dash into a neutral jump heavy kick, it counts as a safe jump. Right, so now we're on to Makoto's resets. Now, a lot of her resets are not too extravagant. Mostly they just come from dashing under the opponent. Because your dash is so good, you can dash under after you've anti-aired them, for example, like this. Or from an up punch, you can do a forward jumping heavy punch and then dash under with a follow-up. Or after other anti-airs, such as just a standing medium punch. Now here's a reset which... it's pretty simple, it's very simple in fact. It's a KARAKUSA and then let them reset and do another KARAKUSA. Now it's quite dangerous of course, you have to make sure they don't Shoryuken you or something. But the main reason you should want to use this is if you get them into a combo, say in the corner, and you stun them but the damage scaling is going to be very high. So we're at 60, by the time I've finished it's on 30. In which case you may just want to reset it with another KARAKUSA and then you get a massive full damage combo again. Okay? Simple stuff like that is dangerous, but can be very worthwhile. Some more elaborate resets is after an EX.Hayate, you could do an FADC forward, and then a forward light kick, dash under, and stuff. I mean, they're nearly off screen when you actually hit them, which is pretty cool. And you could do this in the corner without the FADC, but you have to wait a bit before you dash, and on some characters it's a lot harder than others to get the forward light kick timing out. You can FADC and forward light kick, which is easier, but then that's a waste of 2 bars, I think. Makoto also has a bit of a fancy reset, is when you focus attack them, then you pick them up, do a very late jumping heavy punch, and then dash twice. One underneath them, one back, and then do a sweep or a crouching medium punch. So if they try and do a Shoryuken, they'll miss you, and then you can punish it. You have to make sure that the jumping heavy punch is a late one, so they're nearly on the floor when you decide to do it. Now Makoto does have one setup in the corner which can make a teleport through the opponent and then back. You pick them up with an up punch and then do an instant jumping heavy punch, and then when they're about to land do a crouching heavy kick. So here we can see it again. I teleport in front of them and then I teleport back onto the outside, which is really nice. So it's really hard to block for the opponent. If they try and do a grab, you're on the inside and then you teleport back to the outside for the punish. They try and do a Shoryuken or something like that, you'll teleport on the inside and they'll do it and then you won't teleport on the outside. It's really good. If they spam their super, for example, it's the same deal. And then you teleport the outside just for the punish. Now when I did it with Ryu here though, and he did his ultra, because it froze time, I moved back onto the outside, so you do have to be careful about some moves like that. But other than that, it's really, really good. Okay, this section is dedicated to meaty setups. Now a meaty is when you hit the opponent on the last couple of active frames of your move, so that their hit stun is the same, but you get to recover a bit faster, so you can go into different things. Now this first meaty setup has to be in the corner, and you let the combo drop. I'll be slowing all these down so you can see them at a bit slower rate, because they do go a bit fast. So after the up punch, you let them drop, you wait a little bit, and then you dash forward for timing and do a meaty Oroshi, in which case you can combo it into a standing heavy punch, into a combo, or you can even do it into your ultra. Now this next one, after you've done the EX.Hayate, you do a crouching medium punch for timing, standing heavy kick, which is meaty, and then because you get pushed back so far, a standing medium kick into a Hayate. And on this last one, after the EX.Hayate, you do a standing heavy kick for timing, meaty medium punch, and because it's meaty you can go into a standing heavy punch. Okay, so now we're on to Makoto's option selects, and I've actually only included one because I found it to be the only practical one which is easy to do. There are others which are very character specific and difficult to do, which I will let you judge for yourself whether you want to use them, and I'll link you towards those ones at the end of this section. Okay? But before that, let's go on to this option select. Now this option select is a dash forward KARAKUSA / up punch option select. Okay? So let's see it in motion with the up punch option select coming out. Okay, and here it is with the KARAKUSA coming out. Now as you can see, after the medium punch Hayate, you dash forward and then do the option select. Now the dash forward is the dangerous bit. This whole option select is very punishable if they choose not to, they do something offensive basically. Okay, now I'm going to guide you through the option select in slow motion. What's needed to begin with is a standing heavy punch into a medium punch Hayate. The medium punch Hayate dictates spacing and recovery frames, so that is necessary. After which he's got a variety of options. You dash forward and then input the KARAKUSA notations, but instead do a standing heavy punch and a medium kick. Now if he's jumped away when you press those inputs, you will get an up punch which will follow him, and if he's just moving backwards on the floor, then you'll get a KARAKUSA come out. Okay? So it's dash forward, KARAKUSA motions with standing heavy punch, medium kick. And you can obviously follow up, of course. Now if he jumps back, the up punch will come out, as I've said. If he neutral jumps, you will slide back like that with the up punch. If you want to follow it up, you'll have to do an EX because it'll be just out of distance. Like so. Now if he chooses to not do anything, then a KARAKUSA will come out if he tries to backdash, for example. Now the reason this happens is because if he jumps away, the dash forward makes you go past him, in which case your inputs change depending on which side you're on, so it comes out as an up punch, which follows him automatically. Whereas if he's on the floor, you don't go past him and the KARAKUSA comes out from the medium kick. Okay, so that's the option select. So just be aware that the forward dash part is the vulnerable part, vulnerable to anything basically. Okay, so that's the only option select which I felt was easy enough and practical enough to do. There are other ones which are very character specific, but I never thought to include them because they seem really difficult to do, and I'm not sure whether they can actually be done in version 2012 now. You can go to v.Ryu's YouTube account because he's a very good Makoto and he does a lot of this training tech in Training Room, so you can see his option selects video here, this location. Okay, so go there and judge for yourself whether they're good enough for you to implement into your own game. Okay, another weird thing Makoto has is that she has an Oroshi glitch. After you do a Oroshi, if you FADC and dash forward, certain characters you can dash through like this, which is a pretty cool reset and it's really hard to block. Now this can only work on 7 characters out of the whole lot. Kami is one, Dudley is another. Also Cody, Sagat, Guile, Vega and Balrog. So you could use this in a really good mix-up way that they might not be expecting. So that pretty much ends the tutorial about there. Now I hope you learnt some basic or advanced technology that maybe you didn't know, or I've clarified things which possibly you didn't know, or hopefully you just get excited about playing Makoto and give her a shot, basically. Now at the beginning of the guide I remember I was telling you a lot, don't dash in because you'll get hurt, make sure these are safe and stuff like that, and that's probably the hardest thing to portray in a tutorial, is how to play properly. So what we're going to do before we actually finish the guide is I'm going to show you some matches of some really good Makoto players and I'm going to commentate over them. So what we're going to look at while I do this is how they approach the enemy, what kind of normals they use to space and pressure the opponent, what kind of choices they make depending on what the opponent does and stuff like that. So let's start. Okay, so this one's against Kami, which is a notorious sort of pressure dealer herself. So she's using a lot of normals, crouching medium punch quite a bit. It's a long reaching poke, dash in there, pretty fast dash, try and get a jump. Got hit with one of those and foiled the pressure there because that was a late cannon strike. You can push that. That was a safe jump. Right, back off, just wait for the pressure to go. Back dash to get out of the pressure. Okay, forward dash after Kami does her very long range poke. That looked like some sort of option select, but went through. Trying to be careful with that. Oh, Kami's quite on low health now. So trying to focus attack, dash cancel out of the way of that pressure. She can deserve to be a bit patient. Right now she's backing off using back dash tons. That's just reset the pressure. And I remember saying at the beginning of the tutorial that Makoto finds it hard to chip people. Now these Hayate she's doing are unsafe, but the Kami's not punishing them. Some of them, I think the EX one is less unsafe. So the light punch one was very unsafe, about 7 frames I think. He performs a late axe kick just in case she tries to tech, I imagine. Standing medium punch to stop the neutral jump, and she's using the Kami glitch, the Oroshi dash through glitch there she used. That's very good, it works against Kami. And she used it very well, or he used it very well. I'm going to call her a she. And she finishes it off with a cool combo. So that was very well played. Okay, this next one's against Ibuki. This is a different Makoto now. But backs off, gets some space. That was a very rookie mistake by the Ibuki, but nevertheless. Okay, got some pressure. Caught her teching by the looks of things. She's pretty good at blocking that. Shouldn't be pressing any buttons there. You normally want to let Ibuki finish the block string to get out. Okay, uses the corpse hop, and that was a punish. Oh, that was style. That was pretty decent from the Ibuki there. Didn't do much damage, but it looked pretty cool. And again, you crouch and block a lot against Ibuki. Now she did a jumping light attack into a Karakusa, straight into the Ultra. That's really good. She did a neutral version. Okay, a little bit more. She might be able to chip, and instead she baits the Ultra, which is pretty cool, and nearly misses with a forward medium kick there. The Ibuki's going crazy on the inputs. Okay, backs off again. Backed into it. Never mind. Forward dash gets you into a bit of pain, not too bad though. Okay, she gets into an EX.Oroshi. Now it looks like she's doing some form of timing there to jump over them just in time to get some form of kick-off. Some form of timing. Okay, got to deal with this pressure. She blocks correctly, interrupts the block string. Gets another EX.Oroshi. Now this time she does the same sort of setup but backs away and then dashes back forward for a KARAKUSA, which misses, unfortunately. And she goes for the ultra straight off. Well, it is completely invincible. You can use it as an anti-air or you can just use it as anything really. If they're pressing buttons, you're going to hit them. And fair enough. It's quite risky though, that would have lost on the match. This particular match is against a Ryu. Now Ryu is a fireball character and that causes quite a few problems for Makoto if she can get zoned pretty easily. And they're just sitting there staring each other in the face. She's using air TSURUGIs, I believe, axe kicks, to get him into the corner, and that was a cross-up one. Okay, corpse hop, nope. Baits the thing, and now she's pressuring him with a lot of normal, dash it up. This guy isn't using many fireballs at the minute, and that's punishable, way punishable. So, she does an up punch and follows it up with a combo. Pretty neat. Okay, what's she getting ready to do? Forward light kick, instant air to TSURUGI, just to mess with his mind. I imagine that is punishable. Only by about maybe 4 frames or something, possibly. Okay, instant air to TSURUGI over those fireballs, and that wasn't a cross up because he was crouching, and he's jumping away a lot. She just starts building meter, which is fair enough. And when she FADCs the fireball, she does dash back, it seems. And she's happened to chase this person a lot. There we go. The guy seems to be getting a bit more comfortable, making her come to him a lot more. Okay, backdash to get away from the grab. But generally she's quite slow. She doesn't move forward too much. But I guess she might get a bit annoyed at constantly having to walk forward all the time. But she's got him pretty well done. She tries to anti-air with crouching. Medium kick, misses. Starts showing off with loads of instant air axe kicks. And Hayate cancels. Gets the chop. Okay, and this final match is another Ryu, although this is a different Makoto, so let's see how it goes. Okay, this Ryu starts with zoning. He seems a bit more comfortable with zoning by the looks of things. She FADCs backwards to be safe, dashes forward instant air to TSURUGI. Okay, baits that, hits him, and then does a KARAKUSA with forward light kick, and a cross-up air to TSURUGI. So this is probably going to be... Oh, she goes for a heavy punch chop, maybe because the damage scaling was quite bad and she didn't want to use her EX. She can be quite patient now. Now, she can't really chip him with that. She uses standard heavy punch as an anti-air by the looks of things. Now that's not the best one to use, I'll admit, but it worked. Okay, so she could be very patient here. Maybe should have been ready with an anti-air there. Okay, that's no problem. She'll just take the block. Okay, instant air to TSURUGI. She got out. So now she can apply some pressure. Like I said, she can't chip too well. Everything's sort of risky. Oh, and that was a safe jump, and you can't do that on the safe jump. Okay, now it's starting to get a bit panicky, actually. So what's she going to do? Oh, okay, now EX.Oroshi. Now that does have a lot of active frames. Invincible frames. So, it's a good choice as a get off me move. Maybe she was in that sort of state of mind. Instant air to TSURUGI. She uses them a lot. Oh, that was nice. Okay, she's got him good. Now, the damage scaling isn't very bad on this, so she's probably going to go into a good combo. And she went with a jumping heavy punch in the corner, which looked like it crossed up, so that's a pretty decent setup. And perfect. Nice. Okay, so hopefully that's cleared up a little bit for you. Hopefully you can see the way they approach the enemy. This last Makoto used a lot of instant air TSURUGIs. The other ones were a bit more patient, waiting for a good moment to strike. And they all used several setups, safe jumps or different kind of setups on knockdown. So you do have to kind of utilise those to get a bit mix up and switch it around and such. And apart from that, I hope you enjoyed this video, I would recommend the best way to sort of learn how to play her as well is to watch other people. So watch good Makotos play and then kind of be inspired by those. Now there's a lot of technology, so to speak, which I haven't included because I didn't feel it was very practical, or it may be way too advanced and character specific, which I didn't want to get into because I didn't want it to be 5 hours long. But if I link you to, say, some YouTube channels which are Makoto sort of lab technicians, so to speak, then you can have a look at their stuff and analyze it yourself. So I'll stick that on the screen right about now. So apart from that, thank you for watching, and again, I've been KingBlackTooth. Hope you enjoyed it.